get to New Jersey, do what I got to do, and get out because it was just too much. How I decided to live and how everybody else was living, it was just too much of a clash. But it was just such a great time being in New Jersey. It was such a great time because people were receptive. People were asking questions. People were talking about changing things in their life. Like just phenomenal people that you would never believe that was just talking about really hearing God like never before. You know, so that was an aspect. And I was sitting, driving with my lovely wife. So that was an aspect just of us flowing together. And I was just thinking about flowing together. Us having the opportunity to serve great people and good people, like not a lot of craziness. Like that don't happen every day. You know, you usually get a bunch of people together. There's some type of misunderstanding because you got so many different personalities. But to be around people that flow together, support one another, get along together, and allowing each other to grow together, that's rare. So I was just thinking about that too. And I was thinking about how, you know, we just came out here, you know, just me and my wife, and how God is honoring everything he said. So the thought came to me, and I wish I could find a song, maybe I'll have it by next week. But it's a young lady at the last church. She cut her own album, but she had a song called Smack Dab in the Middle of God's Will. And so it just kept ringing in my ear the whole time I was driving, smack dab in the middle of God's will, smack dab in the middle of God's will. So I said to my wife, I said, babe, you know, the Lord was showing me like we're smack dab in the middle of God's will. She said, you know what? That's a sermon. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it. She said, that's a sermon. So I said, okay. I said, it just, you know, that's when I know God's changing what he's going to talk about on Sunday. And I started to think of how I watch lives, and I watch how sometimes we'll walk away from what God has for us as if we can afford to. Like God will tell us something today, and we'll take it as a consideration or a possible option. We'll get in our car and go, that was a great message. Man, that insight from God was deep. And then our next thing will be totally different from what God just told us to do. Like it doesn't apply to us. Like we have time. And then I thought about that this week too. My sister was, let's see, I'm 50, I'll be 52. My sister was maybe 59, 60. She wasn't that old. The interesting thing is, my father sat there and watched his daughter gone before him. 4 months ago, he saw his grandson gone before him. He's 31. My nephew was 31, which was my sister that just passed son, just 4 months ago. There was somebody else crushed because of I'm going to go see her. I think I'm going to go see her. I might go see her. I really want to tell her how much I love her. I really want to kind of make amends. They thought they had time. My sister's gone. They didn't have time. So I said to myself, we actually think we have time not to be smack dab in the middle of God's will? Like, and the compromise, is that worth? Like, you feel you have time. That's what I'm saying. Like, really? You can afford to be another day outside of God's will. You can afford another day of compromise. You can afford for all things not to work for your good. You can carry that type of weight under the guise of what? I mean, so what's your exchange for that? Because people have fine, okay, let's say I don't need God's will to be smack dab in the middle of God's will. So let's say that's the thought. Okay, so your exchange for that is what? What else are you getting? You getting to be hard? Is that the exchange? I could be hard? We had a conversation with a young man last week. That was you. yeah, we was talking about the reality of what it means to be hard and what not to be. But like you got, see, when I'm hard, I harden my heart. When I harden my heart, I disconnect from people. I can afford to disconnect from people. I can afford not to be connected to my family and and my parents. So what's happening here? What are we doing? What are we doing that we think it's okay to be outside of God's will and God's favor? Do you know without favor, you're working 7 times as hard as it takes to do something that doesn't take that much effort, and you're getting paid 7 times less than you deserve? Do you realize that? When you're not in favor. And there's somebody walking around you in favor that you say is Uncle Tom or they sucking up to people. No, it's favor. But since you don't understand favor because you're not in the smack dab in the middle of God's will, you're like, how'd it happen for them? See, I know what it is. They just sucking up. Or they just think, no, it's called favor. Because when you smack dab in the middle of God's will, stuff happen to you that don't happen to nobody else. The person has the accolades and don't get it. And everybody's looking around like, I don't understand. Like, I've been here for like 15 years. How does this person get this? Like, who are they? And then you'll hate the person, make their job harder because they got favor. They didn't give themselves the promotion. As opposed to, how'd you get this promotion? I need to get, whatever you got, I need that. Talk to me. How'd you get the, matter of fact, let me help you with what you're doing. Because if you don't tell me, I'll figure out how you got the promotion. I'm going to spend enough time around you helping you to eventually, whatever you got's going to rub off on me. It's just going to rub. See, because what you sow into, you draw from. What you despise, you reject. See, so are we in the middle of God's will and walking in favor? Missing opportunities, losing, should be playing for teams. You should be, some of y'all that's young, you should be promoted. Should have got 7 promotions. You know what my philosophy was? Every job. So I'm going to go on this job. I said, it's be about 3 months before they promote me. I left the state of New York. I was working in social services, starting over. I said, I took a job at a trucking company. Never worked a trucking company a day in my life. North American Van Lines. I walked in there. I said, listen, man, I've never done this before. I said, but tell you what, give me any salary you want. But in 3 months, evaluate me. If I show myself to be able to do this job, then I want you to promote me to a competitive salary. So I took a cut in pay. I took a major cut in pay. And for 3 months. After 3 months, I went to the guy and said, oh, no, we got to have this conversation. It's 3 months. I said, matter of fact, and I'm not just doing the job. I'm doing more than you asked me to do. I said, so now you're going to have to pay me. And he paid me. See, I knew something in me. I didn't know about the favor like I do now, but now I know what was happening was favor. Every time I would turn around, somebody would promote me. Just favor. Whatever situation I was in. I walked onto a basketball team. They made me captain. I wasn't even a recruit. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I figured they picked the best person for the job. I wasn't the best person, but I was the person with favor. Smack dab in the middle of God's will. And I remember when the favor changed, when I started compromising, when I started conforming, when I started kicking it and hanging out. Then that's when I told you all mishaps was my friend. I'll be looking for mishaps. Like, okay, things are going good. Not for long. They're coming somewhere. Hey, let me just soak up as much of this as possible because I know catastrophe is right around the corner. That's how I was living my life. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's on its way. Now I live life, look a little crazy, so favor got to be around here somewhere. I know it's coming. It's here somewhere. I'm expecting it because I'm smack dab in the middle of God's will. All right, so let's go to Psalms 102. I know I told you to go to Psalms 102. Wanted to just inspire you a little bit there, or challenge you at least. Psalms 102:13, it says, thou shalt arise, please arise, people, and have mercy upon Zion. It says, for the time to favor her, yea, the set time has come. There's a set time for our favor, and God is trying to tell us, the reason why he encouraged me to talk about this today, that set time has come. Now, will you be in position to exact that favor? See, God has a time that he's doing things. He has a time when his plan is set for an appointed time. Galatians 4, you're under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. You're under teachers and trainers to learn stuff to an appointed time, not forever. You don't go through this training and wilderness for the rest of your life. You don't get comfortable in the wilderness. You don't get comfortable in craziness. No, it's not. You don't live there. That's just training. You don't get used to that. He's saying, so now is my set time of favor. Will you be in position and smack dab in the middle of my will to receive that favor? Or will you guys have another reason or excuse why it's not necessary, it's not important? Probably don't really exist. Favor is a fantasy. Come on. Favor, please. Okay, that makes you feel good about what? That makes it easier for you to stay where? So let's look at the back end of these reasons, or the back ends of these justifications, these back ends of these excuses. Because we're listening to, they sound good. You can sell somebody their own pair of shoes with this stuff. All right, but let's measure some stuff now. Let's start measuring some stuff. Can we measure some stuff? Look at the results. The results is what you got now. So let's just go with the results. Everything, we're going to measure everything by results now. The results is what you got. What you got for all those reasons and excuses and all those great philosophies. Can I use you? Can I use you as an example? Yeah, so you know I'm not putting you down, but I got to use you on this one, right? All right, so we was talking, you know who I'm talking? Yeah, we was talking to young Hezekiah there last week, eating. So Hezekiah has a sharp mind. He's a smart young man. The challenge is the smarts, my assessment, have been used to his disadvantage, not always to his advantage. Now you can say to yourself, why are you judging him? How do you know that? Well, and I talked to him about this, so I'm not talking about him, and he said it was okay. Well, the way I can judge it is by the fruit, by what he has. So when we were talking, man, that dude was breaking some stuff down. I was like, man, that's a good point. I said, all right, so where's the results of that? I said, so I said, you're talking to people that have results, and you're talking theory. Theory is only theory unless you actually have some results. So some people in this room are very good theorists. That's why they're not smack dab in the middle of God's will. God don't live based on theory. He lives based on truth, reality. Theory is something I'm thinking about doing. I'm about to flip this real estate. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, am I really? Is it a theory, or have I planned it? Have I worked it out? And do I have a plan? You see what I'm saying? So otherwise, we just theorists. And theory doesn't get you smack dab in the middle of God's will. Feeling like something's going to happen or work doesn't get you in the middle of God's will. How's that been working up to this time? How's that going? Going pretty good? Getting a lot of good results of those feelings? I feel like this relationship is the one. I know it is. Listen, I'm trying to tell you this is the one. And you know it's the one, why? People used to call me, when I worked at a last church, it's like, Minister Bradley, I just want to call you. I found the one. It's the one. I'm telling you it's the one. So I let them talk for a while. I said, okay, so answer this question. What makes this one different from the last 7 ones? And I never looked at it that way. I said, yeah, do you realize that you said the same thing the last 7 times when you called me? I said, I'm not trying to put you down, but maybe you're not aware of it. Each time you've said the same thing. So why would I sign on and go, oh, this is the one now? I said, why don't you take it through some type of test so you know that you know, because we already know you can't trust you. See, that's not a theory. You've proven that you can't be trusted. You've proven that you're inconsistent. You've proven that you haven't consistently stayed with anything for a long period of time. And you've proven that your pride gets in the way of you getting what you need. So we got to